Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Before we get into today's topic, let's play a quick mental game. Imagine checking your mailbox or bank account and suddenly finding $5,000 just sitting there, courtesy of the federal government. Feels good, right? Well, that's the kind of headline that's been floating around lately thanks to the buzz surrounding the so-called DOGE checks. No, we're not talking about Dogecoin here, but the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE for short, which was created during Donald Trump's administration and led by none other than Elon Musk. The rumor mill has been spinning with claims that Americans might receive a one-time payment of $5,000 as a sort of dividend from the government's budget-cutting efforts. But here's the million-dollar question. Is this real, or just another pipe dream in a sea of political promises? In this video, we're diving deep into everything you need to know about the $5,000 DOGE checks. We'll explore the origins of the idea, what the government has actually said about it, where the money would come from, and most importantly, what needs to happen before a single cent lands in anyone's hands. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's get into the details that matter. The idea of DOGE checks first gained traction when economist James Fishback, the CEO of Azoria, publicly floated the concept that the federal government could return part of its savings from budget cuts directly to the American people. That's when the hype really began. The media caught on, social platforms exploded with theories, and soon enough, people were talking about the possibility of getting a $5,000 windfall. Musk and Trump were pulled into the conversation, and rather than shutting it down, they actually fueled it by suggesting the checks could become a reality. Though, as with many political declarations, the details were vague at best. So, let's clear something up. Has the government officially announced a $5,000 DOGE check program? The short answer is no. As of right now, there is no formal legislation in Congress that outlines this payment plan, nor has the Treasury Department set aside any funds for it. What we do know is that DOGE's mission is to slash government spending by eliminating waste and inefficiencies, an initiative that has reportedly saved the government around $155 billion to date. That sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but let's be realistic. That's a far cry from the $2 trillion in savings that DOGE originally aimed to achieve by July 4, 2026, the date it's set to wrap up operations. Now, let's say, hypothetically, that Congress decides to act and turn this idea into actual policy. That would be the first and most essential step toward making the DOGE checks happen. Congress holds the purse strings, so without their approval, no amount of savings or executive enthusiasm will result in a single check being issued. And right now, there's no evidence that any bill proposing DOGE checks has even been drafted, let alone scheduled for debate or a vote. Until that happens, we're just spinning our wheels. Here's another reality check. Even if Congress does approve a measure, the amount each person could receive would likely fall far short of $5,000. While the original figure was tossed around as a possibility when optimism was high, Elon Musk has since lowered the department's savings targets. Not once, but twice. Given those revisions, experts say any potential payout would be significantly smaller. In fact, some projections now suggest that if a dividend-style payment were approved, it could be less than $1,000 per person, depending on how the funds are distributed and who qualifies. Speaking of qualifications, that's another big unknown. Would DOGE checks go to all Americans? Just taxpayers? Low-income households? Veterans? Seniors on Social Security? We simply don't know. There's been no guidance on eligibility, income thresholds, or even how the payments would be delivered, whether by direct deposit, paper check, or debit card. Without those key details, it's impossible to say who might benefit from this potential policy, assuming it ever becomes real. And let's not forget the ticking clock. The DOGE department was never meant to be a permanent fixture in Washington. It's a temporary agency, scheduled to close its doors in less than 15 months. If the government wants to make DOGE checks happen, they're racing against time. With the 2026 deadline looming, any legislative action would have to move quickly, and in a deeply divided Congress, quick action is never a guarantee. Now, let's talk political strategy. Announcing a $5,000 check sounds great during campaign season, and it grabs headlines fast. But when it comes down to brass tacks, writing laws, funding programs, and setting up distribution systems, it gets messy. There are also major concerns about setting precedents. If the government starts handing out dividends from budget savings, what kind of expectations will that create for future administrations? Will taxpayers demand similar payouts every few years? Could it open the door to new forms of financial populism that aren't sustainable in the long term? These are serious questions, and they make lawmakers cautious. Then there's public trust, or rather, the lack of it. Americans have been promised a lot of things over the years: stimulus checks, loan forgiveness, tax breaks, rent relief. Some of these programs delivered, and others fizzled out or got tied up in bureaucracy. So it's no surprise that many people are skeptical about the DOGE checks. The lack of official updates, combined with a high-profile team and flashy numbers, gives the impression of a marketing stunt more than a serious policy initiative. Until there's hard evidence, like a signed bill or a Treasury announcement, it's probably wise to treat these $5,000 checks as wishful thinking rather than an imminent reality. So where do we go from here? Should you plan your budget around a potential DOGE check? Absolutely not. At this point, there is no guarantee that these payments will ever materialize. That said, it's always a good idea to stay informed. Watch what's happening in Congress, follow official government channels, and keep an eye on credible financial news. If any concrete steps are taken, like a formal proposal introduced in the House or Senate, we'll be among the first to report it here. In the meantime, focus on what you can control. Build your emergency fund, pay down debt, and look for smart ways to stretch your dollars in today's economy. While the DOGE check might sound like a financial lifeline, banking on it now could set you up for disappointment later. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. If you found this breakdown helpful and want to stay in the loop about Social Security, stimulus payments, government proposals, and all the updates that affect your wallet, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. We're here to keep things clear, accurate, and most importantly, useful. Until next time, stay sharp, stay informed, and remember, not everything that glitters is a guaranteed $5,000 check. Take care, everyone.